Get that money.
Hold on, I messed up, y'all. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of the Black Dollar Coalition. Yes. As you can see, today we're going to be talking about budgeting.
Yes.
My favorite section of the newspaper.
Yes, the budgeting section. You like that?
Yeah, baby, because that's where I need the most help at.
We're gonna help you. We're gonna help E and everybody out there watching.
Because I'll be spinning it.
Well, I think it'll be good because today I think I'll be able to add another element to the budgeting kind of thought, the way people think about budgeting, that's really going to help in that area, especially if you are someone who is spending a little bit more than you would like. You want to kind of fine tune your habits a little bit. I think I can present this in a way that is going to help with that.
Yes. So before we get started, number one, make sure you have your pen and your paper and you are ready to take some notes. And number two, as always, make sure you guys look at the description so that if you have any questions for us when we're not here, you can just slide over to our DMs. But please keep them Black Dollar Coalition affiliated, please.
Absolutely. Keep it nice and appropriate in the DMs, okay?
Because it will be blocked. Okay, oh, no problem blocking. It'll be the Black Dollar Coalition, okay? But one thing I want to say before we get started is in the chat and in the comments, let us know what some of you guys' budget blockages are. Mine is that as long as my bills are paid, I don't, that's not very smart. Even though my bills are paid, it's still not smart because anything could happen.
Wow. Let me ask you this, E. Where did you get that philosophy? Where did it come from? Can you point to it? Do you know?
I don't know because my parents, they have A1 credit, have always had A1 credit since I was born. They still have it to this day. They're together. So I guess maybe they have partnership in that. I don't know because I'm single right now. My grandparents, both sides have A1 credit. So I don't know where, like I can't say anybody told me that.
Yeah.
But I think because I had my daughter late, because I had her when I was 27. Before her, I really didn't have any responsibilities. So I could do what I wanted to do.
Got it. Yep.
And like my phone bill was paid for well after I even had my daughter. So I don't have the typical, like, I don't even know what to say because I don't want to offend or anything like that. I'm just speaking purely about myself. I didn't have a hard life in that area. And so I kind of was like that spoiled kid that you just finally get what they call it, what the white people call it. You're cut off. You're cut off.
Oh, you're cut off. Yeah. That's really interesting because I think as we're talking about these financial, lessons and tips and hacks for people, I think for some people they've received bad information, but for some people they received no information.
Right. That's more so me. I kind of like learned everything as in trial and error, like bumping up against the wall, like, okay, well, this got to change. And then, you never know until you come into a problem type of thing.
Right. Okay. Well, let's get you together. Let's get started.
Yes. Let's bring this slide on up, baby.
Yes, bring the slides. Okay, guys. So I love Robert Kiyosaki. Have you heard of him?
No, but he looks like one of my great uncles or something.
Oh, shout out to that. Yeah, he wears cool glasses. He's a very cool guy. He's an author of a very simple book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, I'm kind of a financial geek, right? So I read a lot of finance stuff. This is absolutely essential for everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you want to do in life. This is a great book. But
Yes, hence our cool glasses.
yes, we have cool glasses too. We're also cool and so chic. But Rich Dad Poor Dad is such an essential like first book for people starting out
Mhm.
because it shows how to shift from earning income to owning assets that earn you income, which is,
Right.
by the way, the only way to wealth. So, since you haven't read it and you weren't familiar,
Mhm.
the deal with Robert is he grew up and he had, I believe, a biological father and a stepfather, right?
Okay.
And they both had very different outlooks on money and finances, etc. So he had a rich dad and a poor dad. Now,
Wow.
his poor dad was very educated. His poor dad had like a PhD or something like that.
Wow.
Um, and his rich dad was less educated, but had made different choices
Ain't that
based
a
on
bit?
these certain financial principles that he taught to Robert. And Robert was able to use those principles to grow wealth for himself. He's tremendously wealthy. We're talking about
Mhm.
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow.
Owns
Maybe I
real
need to find
estate.
out if he really is my uncle.
Yeah, he might be. Let's find out. Let's do a little 23 and me and find out that Rich Dad is is
But
your
yes, tell me
uncle.
more.
Yeah. So
Or tell us
he
more.
he purchases real estate every year. He only purchases, larger buildings now and doesn't sell. And so
Mm,
with real estate, you can have different kind of strategy. Some people like to flip, that kind of thing.
mhm,
But and so all of these properties, earn his income instead of him going out to earn income. He also obviously gets royalties from the book, that kind of thing. So that is different because those are assets that he owns, which are earning him income, as opposed to him going out and working for income.
right.
So, what does this have to do with budgeting? Glad you asked. The point I wanted to make here is that we shouldn't budget just to budget. We should budget with the end in mind. And the end is, what is your financial goal? What are your financial goals? Budgeting is the roadmap to get you to those goals, right?
Mhm.
So let's take a look at a quick budget. Very simple. Budgeting is very easy to do. I'm going to give you some hacks in a minute, but the actual budget, no problemo. Okay. All
Okay.
you do is write down your income streams. So for E, since we're helping, she's our little case study today.
Oh Lord.
So for E, she has her businesses. She has maybe her YouTube revenue, her donations, whatever else, child support is
Music.
music.
'Cause you can take child
Um,
support right on off there, Coco.
okay, but
You may not even get triggered today.
let me tell you something, E. We're going to have to take a quick side note right here.
Mhm,
Okay. Because there are too many women who are
mhm,
raising children who need child support. And by need, I don't mean, yes, you can do it by yourself, but
mhm.
the
I know what you
child
mean.
needs the support. Okay.
Mhm.
And they are not taking the steps to ensure that that is a line item on their budget. And they should. So for everyone listening who is co-parenting and whose child has daily needs, please take the steps to add that to
And
as an
namely the
income
single
line on your
mothers.
budget.
And
I'm
namely
sorry.
the single I said namely the single mothers because
Yes.
all of us are not co-parenting.
Yes. And listen to me, ladies, real quick soapbox moment. You might not need it. I know a lot of you are doing great, and that's great, right? But think about if you're raising a young person, you have financial goals for yourself, for your family, and for that young person, right? You want to give
Yeah.
them a financial start. If for nothing other than you just put it away and it goes to some of their college or whatever,
Yeah.
That's what in the financial world, every dollar that could be um added into the business or the household is called an unrealized earning, right?
Yeah.
So there are women who have hundreds and thousands of some millions of dollars that should be flowing into their household that is not.
Yeah.
So that is my second
And if you're a good mom, and I'm just gonna speak to those that are, we don't have to
Mhm.
speak about the other side.
Yep.
We put our children first.
Yes.
So
And think of it that way. Think about putting your child first. You don't want to deal with the person and you don't want to, deal with the process, but put your child first. You do it in every other area of that child's life,
yeah.
right?
I think
Most
that is something that we have to think about because
Yeah,
I don't necessarily pursue it because I don't want the drama and the
right.
stress or the headache or the calling of agencies and stuff like that. So I just take it on the chin and raise my daughter because she knows that her mom is doing the best she can and she has everything she needs and wants. So
Right. But let me transform your thinking.
mhm,
Most mothers and fathers that I know will lay down on the train track for their child.
exactly.
It like
I'm
that.
gonna
Like
blow the
won't even
train
think,
up.
right? So think about this process that involves forms, maybe a couple phone calls, and that's it. Why not do that for your child? I'm doing a video on Nepo home buying. Do you know what
Mhm.
that is?
No.
That is other groups getting 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 from their parents and grandparents to purchase their first property. So they come into adulthood with 500,000 or more in assets. And that
Right.
doesn't happen for our group.
Right.
That doesn't happen so even if you think about it like that, even if you think let it come in and I'll put it away and won't touch it until she's ready to purchase a property or until she's
Mhm,
ready to go to college or, wants to go to a special school or something, right?
mhm.
Think
Yeah.
of budgeting on the income part. We're here to maximize that part.
Right.
And you can minimize the expense section, and we'll talk about that. But you want to maximize that section. If you are a single parent with another living able-bodied co-parent, put the child support line on your budget. That's it. Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay, but while you're done, this is
Yes.
the perfect place to insert. Go look at the description because she said she has that great video on the way for you guys.
Yes.
So make sure that you look in the description and you are subscribed to On the Spot. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Okay, so you're going to put all those income items on your budget, your side hustle. You do your little Lyft or Uber driving, whatever you do, however big or small, add all of those income sources to your monthly budget. And then you'll total those. You want to know how much you want to know how much income you make in total each month. Then you're going to list your monthly expenses, what you spend on everything. Okay. We start with what we call our fixed expenses. Our fixed expenses are those expenses that are the same every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rent or mortgage, car note, insurance, etc. All of those things that are the same amount per month. And then we do our variable expenses, the things that are different. So, what we spend on groceries, on gasoline, on, Sephora, that kind of stuff. Hopefully, you don't spend too much at Sephora, but everything else, right? So, you want to categorize your monthly expenses and total them. You want
Mm-hmm.
to categorize your monthly expenses and total them. So now you have your monthly income, right? You have your monthly expenses. And so, what's the difference? What's the difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you subtract your monthly expenses from your monthly income, don't you dare call that disposable income. Disposable income is the most terrible word I've ever heard. income is not to be disposed of. You should never say that. You should never say that. Some people call it their play money, their kick it money, their club money, their hangout money, etc. But what it should really be is your goals. Everything you have after you pay your bills should go toward your goals. So, this is a very popular rule. You'll see this all over the internet, all over financial blogs, all over financial newspapers, everywhere. They call it the 50-30-20 rule. And it's just how it looks, right? Your expenses should represent 50% of your needs, things that you have to have. You have to have food, right? You have to have a roof over your head, right? You might not have to have Sephora or the level of Sephora that some of us can get to, right? So those would be wants. Those should be 30% of your budget. But 20% of your budget should be goals, okay? So this is our big hack. You have to budget your financial goals into your monthly budget. So going back to this, you're going to add a line item for, hey, I want to own a spot one day, or hey, let me put $100 toward that every month, or hey, I want to pay down my debt, etc. Or hey, I want to open my business or scale my business. I want to go from having, this, making plates in my house to having like a little food truck. So I want to purchase a food truck. So those should go to your financial goals. Or hey, I want to buy stocks. I want to invest. So your financial goals, you have to write them into your budget. A lot of times what people do is they have money left over at the end of the month and they do a little something with it. Maybe they go have fun or something. And so they aren't prioritizing their goals. 20% of the money that you make should go toward your financial long-term goals. Now, don't let me stop you at 20%, okay? If you want to change, you would be super empowered if 50% of your budget went to your financial goals and you were able to, make needs and wants work elsewhere. But at least 20, that's a really good start. Like I said, that the 50-30-20 rule is widely used. You'll find it everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into some hacks. Okay, how can we help this budget? How can we help this budget out? Let's say this is our budget and the expenses side is just way too heavy. We're spending way too much of our monthly income. Many Americans actually spend 100% of their income just surviving day to day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we work on those monthly expenses to get them down? I highly recommend, I call it auditing, but I think a better word is shop around. Okay. The shop around, just like you might check out one grocery store and go to another one and see how much, their produce is over there. You're checking for the, who has the best deals. The same is true for everything on every line item on your budget. So, that could be where things we get complacent in. Our car insurance, right? Are you shopping around for car insurance, or do you just auto pay every year, the same, whatever? And that's also, they sneak the rates up, but that kind of thing. So just like you would shop around for the best deal of what store you want to go to for your groceries, you want to take a look at your budget and pick a line item, at least one or two, and say, can I find a better deal for what I'm paying this company every single month? Things like your mobile service, right? That could be something that you can shop around. So the shop around is a huge hack. Or even like your streaming services. Speaking of streaming services, our next hack is really about Finding opportunities to pay less. For some streaming services, or several different kinds of services or things that people pay, there are family plans. They call them family and friends plans now because some people like their friends more than their family. So it's just people that you know and love plans, right? You could find a lot of potential savings in that just by using this method of shopping around and seeing where you can find exactly what you have right now for a little bit less in terms of dollars. What do you think about that, E?
Um, I would say it's a lot of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of discipline. Which I feel like a lot of things that you're gonna touch on,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we make things a little more difficult because the foundation is so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're saying sounds simple, but if you don't have that foundation of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to stick to it,
Mm-hmm.
then what you're telling us will never work. So I feel like in my situation, it's about consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what helps with consistency is realizing that you're doing this for you. You're doing this so that you
Yeah.
can get to your financial goals. The switching, I think you make a great point. It might not feel practical for a lot of people, like, let me go through every line item and find a competitor that's going to offer me a better deal. How about this? Try this. I've done this before and it works, right? If you're not feeling like doing all the switcheroo, call every company on your budget that represents a line item on your budget and say, hey, I paid this much, do you have any different plans that I can be on? This has worked for your mobile service. I remember one time I called, I think it was either the gas or the electric company, but it was a home utility, and they're like, yeah, we have this. I was just on the phone about something else. And they were like, yeah, we have this certain thing in your area, in your zip code, where it could be 30% less. And I'm like, well, yeah, give me that. They're not going to automatically put me on that. But, putting one foot in front of the other, you can realize some savings while staying with the same provider. Call,
Right. I did
this,
actually do that.
yeah.
I found out on my cell phone and internet bill that I had been paying for a service that I don't even use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And just think, just going through twice a year, just
Yeah.
making sure. And there is an app for that. They make an app for everything, E. There is
Yeah.
an app that will comb your subscriptions and find out what you're not using and auto cancel them for you.
Yeah.
And then
I
show you
did
how
that
much
before
money you
too.
saved.
'Cause
You
I'm
know
like,
about that
what?
one?
Them 4.99s and them 5.99s and 9.99s add up.
They add up. And hey, watch this. That is your money.
I knew that.
That is your money, right? So, as much as you can, if the switching is feels like a lot, try just calling up and saying, "Hey, can you offer me something better than what I have now?" And, do it as often as you can. Your budget will love you. Okay. Like, good job. Do it again. And remember, none of this is to make you upset or ruin your life. This is all to ensure that you have the money to go for your financial goals. Do you know there is a building that I wanted to buy, E, on the
Mhm,
side of Chicago? And I didn't have what I needed down at the time, right?
mhm,
And shame on me because I could have had what I needed down on the time at the time, right?
mhm.
But I didn't. I spent my money somewhere else and I did something else. And I still, I had some money, but I didn't have what I needed to go in on that opportunity. So what
Right.
happens if we don't have our reserves together, if we don't have our 20% together, we could have these awesome opportunities come to us, come across our desk or come into our lives, and we cannot take advantage of it because we haven't been doing what we're supposed to be doing. So don't think about it in that way as well. Do not miss out on opportunities. And our financial goals. This is from our financial foundation. Where does our 20% go? Where's our 20% going? Our financial foundation is securing insurances, healthcare, life insurance, eliminating debt strategically, having our emergency fund, and then going into investment. So that is why budgeting is a thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Budget isn't about how much money you have now, how much you spend now. It's about your future and making sure that you are focused on your future.
I love it, even though I hate it. But I need it. We need it. We need it. We need it. We need to know these things so that we can level up properly, you know.
Absolutely. Couple other hacks. Um, there are codes that you can get from most of the companies that you work with, that if you refer a friend, that you can either get a discount or some kind of credit. That is certainly worth checking out. There's also an amazing app that I use called Dosh. It's DOSH. I love my Dosh app. As you spend money at the places that you regularly go, they give you cash back on the app.
Hmm.
And that has been fantastic. I used it very heavily. Dosh was a part of my strategic plan when I purchased my first property. I incorporated Dosh. I earned extra income by driving for Lyft. I was a little Lyft driver.
Okay.
And my little strategy worked. It turned into a spot.
Yes.
So small opportunities add up too. Just like E was talking about all those 5.99s and 4.99s. Think about the plus 4.99s and the plus 5.99s. All of
Yeah.
those things add up as well for your financial foundation.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, what are your thoughts on budgeting now, E? What are you thinking?
It still gets on my nerves, but I'm so glad that I have a friend in you because, you know, we're going to turn this thing around for me and for our watchers because I feel that budgeting is a major thing when it comes to our demographic. We are the largest spenders.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely taking heed and I'm taking my notes and I'm not deleting none of these because I can just go back and look at them. I hope you guys will be going back and replaying these as well because she's dropping a lot of things that we need to begin practicing.
Absolutely. And remember, the point is you. The point is for you to get to your goals. Your budget is to make sure that enough of your hard earned money is going to be working for you long term and not just going out to all the greedy companies that, are, greedy.
Because they don't give a damn about you.
Exactly, exactly. So how they say pay yourself first? That
Yeah.
is absolutely a thing. Your financial goals are in there as line items on your budget. Make sure you pay yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys, that's been budgeting. I can't wait for the Q&A for this one.
Yeah, because whoo, child. I'm probably gonna have lots of questions for that time as well.
Yes. Well, hopefully this has been a helpful start for people out there budgeting. Remember, you can do it. We're here to help. Black Dollar Coalition.
Yes. And as always, Please make sure you hit that like button on your way out. If you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed, and do not forget to look in the description so that you can get all of the links. We will be adding the link. I think that this Dosh app, I'm gonna find it, and I feel like that just needs to be a permanent link in the description as
Yeah,
well.
let's do it.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check that description, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.